ready? Ready to rock and roll today? All right. Pleased to be here. Pleased to have you guys here. Don Getling with Cherry Creek Mortgage, and I'd like to introduce our regional manager, Scott Houlihan, who's going to start the showdown. Come on up, Scott. Good morning. Oh, come on, we can do better than that. Good morning. Good morning. There we go. Thank you very much for taking out time of your busy day to join us this morning. I know that maybe the very last day of the month is a challenging one for some of you, so thank you again for taking out time to be here this morning. This morning I was kind of trying to think of a way to introduce our speaker this morning and give you a little bit of insight. And as I was thinking about Steve and his coaching, and I thought about how important a coach is. In fact, what really crystallized it for me and clarified it is I coach a bunch of 8-year-olds in flag football, and I thought, could you imagine the chaos on that field if they didn't have a coach? And it really crystallized for me the importance of a coach in our lives. Anyone who is at the top of their game employs a coach. Anybody who is beating their competition, taking their game to the next level, has a coach. And at Cherry Creek, we have forged a partnership with Building Champions, and we've really ingrained that into our culture, and we're really proud to bring you this morning one of the best in the business. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our coach this morning, Mr. Steve Scanlon.
Leave the music on all day long. No, don't do that. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, Scott said we could do better than that. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, all right. All right. Wow, it's just really great to be here. You know, when you begin a day, it's kind of the culmination of things that I've looked forward to now for a couple months since we've been planning this and preparing it. And Scott said, you know, it's the end of the month. Someone mentioned that to me last night, like it's the last day of the month or whatever, and I was kind of like, you know, that's right. What's funny, though, is in life and in our business, there's always a reason not to do something great. It could be the beginning of the month, and you got to go, oh, I got to get ready. It could be the middle of the month, and people are going, oh, I got to prepare for the end of the month, and it could be the end of the month. And I'm going to share with you a few things today. I'm going to talk to you less as a speaker and more of a coach. I'll share with you exactly what that means. But I did want to tell you that, that as you go through this morning, you're here. And I guess, how many people are familiar with the field of coaching in general? Okay. How many people won't raise their hands this morning and it doesn't matter what I say? 2, 3. Got them. Got them. You know, people make decisions. I'm not raising my hand. I'm not buying into any of that. Coaching is an interesting field. I've been coaching with Building Champions for about 12 years. I coach primarily in mortgage banking and real estate. It's kind of the field that I marinate near, quite familiar with it. When we learn to coach, we coach primarily over the phone and some one-on-one in person. Here's an interesting thing. When they're teaching us to be a coach, we actually get measured when we're coaching people. And one of the measurements that they use to determine how effective we are as a coach is how well we listen and how well we speak. And they measure that by time. Like, so if I have an hour-long coaching call, they'll literally come in and go, how much were you talking and how much were you listening? Guess which they want you to do more of? All right, listen. You know the whole God gave you one mouth and 2 ears, use them proportionately. You've heard that, right? Well, it's interesting when I come and present because I'm speaking. And so the truth of the matter is though I've been doing this for a while out with people, I do this some, 90% of my vocation is coaching people one-on-one. I get to do this from time to time, and I guess right out of the gate I like to tell people, as strange as this might make it sound to you, I'm at a bit of a disadvantage because I'm not really a speaker. I don't do this for a living. I don't speak for a living. There's a couple people going, well, then what am I doing here? You know? Okay. It doesn't mean that I don't come and I can't share a few things, but here's primarily what it means. It doesn't matter how big or small the group is, I'm going to do everything I can to engage with people. I'm going to ask you questions. Now, raise your hand if you're in sales. Okay. Save for the handful of people that won't raise their hands at anything, you know. By the way, everybody's selling something always. How many people have kids in the room? You're in sales. Okay, and by the way, so are your kids. Try to put a 9-year-old to bed and you get some of the most effective selling you've ever seen. Very, very effective. Okay? So as a coach, I'm going to ask some questions. That's probably going to be a hair dark. It'll be like 10 o'clock. It was a great seminar. It was like I REM slept. It was awesome. You can go ahead and leave the lights on. Just turn them all the way up, bro. That's fine. That's fine. It's fine. Can you all see that? Yeah. Okay, good. We're going to show some movies later. We're going to watch The Whole English Patient starting at 10 o'clock. No, we're not. So I'm going to ask you some questions. And the effectiveness of this day is going to somewhat be contingent on our willingness to connect and share as a group. It doesn't matter how big it is. Now here's some of the things that as I present more and more, you learn as groups. You could get the most dominant, driven, in-your-face person out there, but you get up in a group and they can get kind of quiet. That's just the way it is. That's okay. We can do that. So we're going to start a little bit easy. I guess I'm of the belief that if you want to impart something upon somebody, especially adults, and I'm not convinced it's not kids yet, you have to engage. Because if people feel disconnected, like if I stand up here and go, oh, I've got 3 steps to be a millionaire, all you got to do is this, 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 and this. Did you know that most people go, no. Isn't that crazy? But if you engage, if we ask questions, if we talk, if you even challenge, that's awesome. Because it can get people going. So let's start. How many have you, so we'll ask you a couple of raise your hand questions and then I'll ask you some less hypothetical questions. How many people have ever been to a seminar, presentation, event, call it what you will? Something like this, if you've ever been to. How many people have ever been, you're sitting there, the speaker's presenting something, and you're sitting there in your chair, and you're going, yeah, I like that. And I'm going to do that. And you literally make commitments to yourself. I'm going to prospect more. I'm going to sell more. I'm going to go do this more. And you say, yes, only to about 3 days later be back to where you were. Has that ever happened to anybody? Okay. So here's my first question. And it's not a hypothetical question. Why? Hold on, I want to write them down. That was a good first one. Very positive to start our day. Laziness. Seriously, you sit there, you're making commitments. I'm going to go do that. Only to 3 days later, you're not doing it over and over and over again. Why?
Fear.
Okay. Habits. Fear. Accountability. You know, I used to ask this question. We can probably have some more up here. I'd ask this question of groups of people. How many people get up and do what they should, when they should, as they should, every single day of their life? Okay? So I was in Honolulu speaking one time. I take those gigs as often as I can swing them, I've noticed. And I asked that question to this woman in the front, well, me. How many people do what they should, when they should, as they should, every day of their life? And she was me. And so I kind of panicked, right? Wow. All I could think to do was ask the question over. Okay, what you should every day of your life. And she was like, me. So, but everybody behind her was going, so it really created this funk in the whole day. I was like changing slides because like I had to like compensate. Most of us don't. Most of us don't. And I frameworked it into, have you ever been to a seminar and walked away and not done anything? Yes. How is it then that we walk around with shoulds? The things that you should do. Is it this stuff again? I could come back and do 4 hours easy, maybe an entire 8-hour day on fear. Fear grips too many people. Grips too many people. The fear of what, though? Because you know what? People think it's the fear of failure. As a coach, I'm telling you, I have come to believe that I believe it's possible that it's far more the fear of success. And that sounds weird to people, but maybe we can flesh that out a little later on. Accountability. How many people think, as a show of hands, accountability is a good thing? How many people think that you yourself are your best accountability partner? Okay. How many people think you're not your best accountability partner? Good. I just wanted to have a little conflict right out of the gate. We can't all agree with everything, right? You know, I don't know. I have a tendency to think that if we personally were our best accountability partner, then we would get up and do what we should, as we should, when we should every single day. And we often don't. But here's the funny thing about accountability. Most people avoid it like the plague. And by the way, the older we get and the smarter we are, the more brilliantly we avoid accountability. So, if you're prone to taking notes, by the way, there are certain behavioral patterns in the room that don't like to take notes. Because there's certain behavioral patterns like, oh, I just like to listen. Okay? But it's one key reason you just listen and don't go away and take action. I just really want to encourage you to take notes. Because unless you write it down, I'm not saying across the board, and it's certainly not with everybody, but unless you write some stuff down, you can't go back and reflect. And let me tell you something, we're going to really flesh this out today. The world we live in right now is so out of control busy. Okay? I mean, I won't make you even raise your hand, maybe show of your eyeballs or whatever. You know, give me some sort of positive indication if you're busy right now. Okay? You know what's funny? You probably don't even know anyone that's not crazy busy. It's become like a pandemic. Seriously, busyness. And there's a real huge irony to the whole busy thing, because like 20 years ago, if you could have gone back and explained to somebody, you know what we're going to have in 2012? We're going to have this apparatus that you can like stick to your head, and we're going to get information instantly. I could watch television. I can certainly get documentation. I won't have to go anywhere. It can just all come to me. Apart from the fact that there's no way I think you could have convinced somebody that was possible, I'm also convinced that one of the questions that that individual would have would be like, holy moly, what will you do with your spare time? That was supposed to be a lot funnier than it really was. Because get it? We don't have any. People are so busy. And when we talk about things like planning and we talk about things like coming and growing and whatever, do you know a lot of people go, yeah, I'd go, but I just don't have the... Oh, it's a horrible paradox. If you don't make time to do stuff like this, you won't likely grow. And it doesn't mean you're going to shrivel up and die a violent death, because that's what speakers do. Like, if you don't do that, you're all going to die. No, you're not. If you don't do anything I say, you know what's going to happen? Nothing. You'll be fine. Seriously. And I'm not going to ever share things like that, like, oh, you have to do this. I'm not going to do that. My job is to help you kill some shoulds. And did you know that if every one of you walked out today, if you left here this morning and did one little thing in your business or your life, this thing is infinitely better than all that stuff that you attended where you walked away with 20 things. What one should can you kill? and you have one. Could you, if I just made you stop and think right now, just one, I don't care if it comes from your life or your business, doesn't matter right now. Could you think right now in your mind, there's one thing that I know that if I did it, that would be really, really instrumental for me? Could everybody think of one of those? Okay. Hold on to it for a little while, because we're going to talk about it. But accountability. So if you're prone to taking notes, we're going to do this really quickly. I'm going to go kind of quick today, and this is just sort of, we're starting off. I'm going to share with you a couple of models, and the first model I want to share with you is a learning model. Some of you may have heard of it, but I find it really instrumental as we kick off the day. When you learn something, anything new, learn to ride a bike, learn a new computer software, when you learn anything, you go through 4 stages. Doesn't matter what you learn. And by the way, I've tried my hardest. If someone can, go and do a bunch of research on this and figure out who developed this model, as best I can tell, it's non-proprietary. You go out online and it's a known model that nobody takes credit for. It has proven its way with me as a coach, and here's the model. Oh, by the way, if you're not up for change, do everything you can to close your ears for the next 5 minutes, because this won't be comfortable for you. Okay? 4 stages of learning. The first stage is unconscious incompetence. Stage 1. You don't even know you don't know. And the truth is, it's a pretty cool stage. Ignorance is? Oh, if we could just be in stage 1. The problem is, you attend things like this, you read a book, you meet a friend, you take a class, something external happens to you and you get thrust into stage 2, which is conscious incompetence. Incompetence. Kind of funny, I misspelled incompetence, I think. Incompetence. Now you know you don't know. And this is stage 2, stage 1. This is the should stage. You see, if you're thinking to yourself, you know what I should do? I should exercise. I should eat better. I should really go make amends in that relationship. I should prospect more. I should sell more. I should. We walk around, and I've actually written quite a bit about this, that too many people live their whole life in stage 2. It's David Henry Thoreau that said most men and women lead lives of quiet desperation. And you know what that comes from? Living here. Too many shoulds. I should do this and I should do that. And so as I present more and more, and even as I coach, I don't know where I was one time, and I was like, you all have got to stop shooting on yourself. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. Shouldn't. Stage 3 is conscious competence. You can become good at something, but you have to stay conscious of it. That's stage 3. And everybody that I coach, if there is ever a magic pill question that I get is, great, how do you get from here to here? That's the classic magic pill question. How do you leave something like this and just be disciplined all of a sudden to do all that you should when you should? How do you do that? Choice? I didn't know we were going to answer that, because if y'all could, I'd sit down like, wow, you got an answer to that. That'd be great. It could be good. 4, just really quickly. The last stage, for those of you that are into deductive reasoning, you could see that the model flows in the last stage is unconscious competence. Unconscious competence. As you develop and you start to do something over and over and over, you can get good enough at it where you no longer have to think about it. And the funny thing, and Scott presented this morning, he said coaching kids, coaching whatever, athletics is a great field for us to look at. Michael Jordan was unconscious. Tiger Woods used to be unconscious. Then he went a little too unconscious. Seriously. That guy messed me up. I used to use him as such great examples, but he might come back. Who knows? So unconscious, conscious, competence. Now, from a business perspective and a life perspective as a coach, when I first started coaching, I used to see this as a progression. Let's all get to unconscious. We'll be so good at stuff we don't need to think about it. You know what, in your business? Stage 3 is a better stage. Because this is less than a linear progression and far more of a cycle. You can get so good at something. How many people have been in real estate for more than 10 years? Wow, how about 20? Okay, I'll stop there. It's kind of embarrassing. How many people started in 1934? No. Okay. If you've been in real estate for more than 10 years, you think things like this. You know what? I have written so many contracts. I've written so many, buyer side listing agreements. I can do that with my eyes closed. Be really careful. You're about to do it with your eyes closed. And even some of the most seasoned people have to teach themselves to stay in stage 3. Because stage 4 can hurt people. That's okay there's certain things that we do that we could get good enough, but from a business and life perspective, I think stage 3 is a better stage. So, accountability. Conscious incompetence. People come to Building Champions and they like coaches and they want accountability. Maybe you came to this, if I had some accountability in my life. We're going to look at this a little later on this morning. I just want to share this with you now. Remember I said the wiser we get and often the older we get, the more brilliantly we deflect accountability. And so that one thing that I had you think about your business or your life, your key should, I just want to plant this seed and hopefully we'll flesh it out here in a little while. Here's the seed I want to plant. The most brilliant way to avoid accountability for the rest of your life, because the avoidance of accountability is often, whether it's self-accountability or collective accountability, you know how you avoid it for the rest of your life? And the reason I want to tell you that is because some of you, and I won't make eye contact because I don't know y'all anyway, but some of you have been doing this for too long. And here's what it is. Ambiguity. All you got to do in life to avoid either personal or corporate accountability is just be vague. You should see your faces. Okay? Here's what that looks like. Show of hands. How many people in their business just think right now, and again, we're getting tight, and I met some people last night. Valencia seems like a good group of folks. How many people just think, you know what, I know it would help my business if I just prospected more? How many people could just prospect more? A couple hands. This is their hand raise. It's getting down to like one pinky. Okay? If you say to yourself, I need to prospect more, I just want to tell you something. You will, it's likely, it's not certain, but it's very likely you'll stay in stage 2. How many people, we'll try something else to get a few more hands up there. How many people should take care of their health better than they currently do? Yeah. The idea that you should, here's what I want to encourage you to do. If you've thought that, even in the last week, the last 2 weeks, the last month, I'm going to coach you. Ready? Stop thinking that. Because it's killing you. All it does is have a should in your life. Get it? I should be healthier. But that idea is so ambiguous that the likelihood of you actually going to get healthier is really, really low. And all I should get healthy, all it does is reinforce this stage. You want to go from here to here and you actually want to be healthier? Start talking like this. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a commitment to get up early in the morning, like at 7 o'clock, 6:30, and I will do some form of cardiovascular activity 3 days a week. Do you know what's really funny? When you begin to coach people and you begin to help them with that, that idea should probably make you feel uncomfortable. Because specificity feels like it's robbing us of a freedom. You see, we think we're free in ambiguity. If I just say I need to get healthy, then that's a free thought. It's funny, even people that pay us to coach them. If I start going, well, when are you going to exercise? Hey man, don't ask me stuff like that, man. I just want to get healthy. It won't work. So, and the prospect more. Really? How much more? When and to whom? But the minute you begin to write that down, if your soul doesn't start tugging at you, like if you say stuff like that, oh man. Or even worse, I've said stuff like that before, and I have failed. And so one surefire way that our minds tell us, I won't fail anymore, and here's how. I'll stop trying. Greatest way not to fail anymore is don't even try. Or is it? Takes courage to get back up and do some things. Okay. Everybody have at least one sheet of paper in front of you. We gave you some blue folders. There's some notes in there. I noticed that Cherry Creek Mortgage, by the way, the team out here of Cherry Creek Mortgage, I've been at this for many, many years. Wow, what a great company. And when we put this thing together, it was like, wow, end of the month, all this stuff, like, yeah, let's do this. I thought it took a lot of courage. You know, right now rates are at, you know, whatever they are, and things are going crazy, and they're like, you know what, let's put an event together for some of our key people. That took a lot of courage. So we'll talk about that later, but thank you for that, and thank you for putting this together. Yeah, but can everyone get a piece of paper in front of them? You got at least one? I'd like you to, if you're going to write on something that you're going to keep, you can either take my notes. If you've got your own journal, there are certain people today that will write on iPads or whatever. This one, I actually want you to write on something physical. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to give you about 60 seconds. And I'd like you to make the most extensive list you can, bullet-pointed list. Catch yourself writing narrative and don't do it. Don't write out stories. Make a list. Okay, and here's the list I'd like you to make. And I'm going to, as soon as I tell you, I'm going to say go, and you're going to get 60 seconds, and then there's going to be a winner and a loser. This isn't 8th grade girls soccer. We're not tying. No, I'm just kidding. No, there's no winner to this. This is the list I want you to make. I want you to make a list of everything in your world, personal, professional, everything in your world that you are grateful for. Ready, go. Five seconds. Okay, pens down. Here's what I'd like you to do with that list. Nothing. Hold on to it. Put it somewhere. There's a reason to do that, just so you know. My coaching and my style, hopefully we'll see this by the time the morning's over. This is not going to be your classic rah-rah session. I will not make you get up and go, we can do it and dance and just chant things about beliefs. No. I'm far more practical than that. But here's what I have learned. Too many people walk around without a spirit of gratitude. And And we live in a busy world, and I'm grateful to having seen a lot of you write, but what I've noticed with different groups of people is I could start and I could say, I want you to make a list of all the things that really tick you off in life. And it's really funny how people are ready to go. Wah, 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 wah. But here's what's crazy. Especially if you're coming into a day where you want to get something and you want to walk away and maybe change something in your world, in your life, in your business. Did you know the spirit of gratitude will help you do that? You hear better. You'll listen better. Because if you're sitting there right now and you've got a transaction that's really upsetting you and there's some people that are upset or your kids are upset with you and you're worried about it or whatever, it doesn't matter what I say or what we do or how we do it. You likely won't do anything with it anyway. Y'all with that? So I know we can't live like that every day, but I do have some clients. For those of you that are prone to like writing down specific action plans, you want a really, really cool exercise? Make that list daily. Make that list daily. What if you woke up in the morning and the first thing you did was you made that list? Some people do it in their mind. I have clients that write it down. It took 60 seconds. If you get to a point in your life where you don't have extra 60 seconds, then call us. We'll help you with time. It's like people that read the back of a Pop-Tarts. I heard a comedian say this one time. If you don't raise your hand if you eat Pop-Tarts, but if you want to microwave a Pop-Tart, it says microwave for 3 seconds. 3 seconds. If you have to be up and eating in 3 seconds, we have to talk about your schedule. I mean, that's crazy. What if every day you woke up and said, what am I grateful for? You know what a fantastic way to start your day. Okay, that one's yours. Put it away, put it in your purse, put it in your pocket, do something with it. I want you to do one more list. And this will be this will be a little bit more dynamic of an exercise. Hold on to that one though. I had asked each of you, and some of you the coffee's yet to kick in, and I get it. And it's early and it's Friday, and maybe you're thinking about a bunch of things, but I had asked you 10 minutes ago to think of something that you should do in your business. And I was trying to look around and see faces. Were y'all thinking of something? Hopefully you thought of something, because I'm going to ask you to write it down. Here's what I'd like you to write down. A sentence at the most, if you can synthesize it into a singular sentence. What I want you to write down is, now we're going to talk just about your business. If there were one thing you could do in your business between now and, let's say, the end of 2012, repeatedly and consistently, what one thing would you do in your business that you would go, that would be a great way to end this year, and if I could do that repeatedly and consistently, that would certainly bring some success to me. Do you understand what I'm asking? What one thing would you do in your business repeatedly and consistently that you think would bring you success if you just did it consistently between now and the end of the year? Some of you are looking at me like you're still thinking. Can you all get one? Ready, go. $20 seconds, maybe 15. All right, 3, 2, 1, stop. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Take what you just wrote that on. If you wrote it in your journal, if you wrote it on a piece of paper, whatever, tear it out and hold it in your hands. Please. Or tear it off. Hold it in your hands. I need you to hold that in your hands. Oh, is it in your journal? That's going to be a little tougher for this, but it's okay. You have 30 seconds. No, I'm just kidding. You have 10 seconds. Here's what I'd like you to do with that piece of paper. Ready? Crumple it up and make the smallest ball you can. Smash it up. No, don't fold it, smash it. Make a ball. Make a ball. That's why it's not going to work in your journal or whatever, right? Crumples up her whole journal. Okay, that's what he said. Okay, y'all got a ball? Okay. Grant, starting at you. You're on this side. You're on this side. Everybody that's on this side of the room, and you all are on this side, y'all get that part? Yeah. On the count of 3, I'd like you to take your ball. 3. You people are already getting the concept here. I can see that. You're going to throw it as far as you... No, don't be hitting people in the head. I saw you aiming for people. Hopefully you didn't put your name on it. I just want you to throw it as far as you can this way on the count of 3. Just throw it this way. No, get ready. Like, don't like... No, 3. Oh, my God. All right, 1, 2, 3, throw it. Okay, get one if you can find one. Here, pick one up. Who threw this one? We're gonna have a... Yeah, this wasn't supposed to be the hardest part of the day. People are like, wait a minute, we want to do that exercise again. There's people still throwing. These people missed by a whole 90-degree angle. Read a few. Just read a few. I don't care what it says, and you don't even know who they're from, I think. Go ahead. Steve.
Be more patient and outgoing, but be happy when the people I work with and for, instead of dwelling on what is wrong, negative feelings.
Be more, wow, that was a heck of a, that was a bit of a run-on sentence with some semicolons and whatnot. Be more patient with the people that I work with. That's what I kind of got. Be more patient with the people that I work with and don't see negative stuff, right? Okay, good. What else? Yes, ma'am.
I would like myself and my team to respond to our clients' needs faster and have the ability to say no when something is not possible.
Okay. I would like my clients and my team to be able to respond to people faster and have the ability to say no when things aren't possible. Okay, very good. Yes.
A marketing campaign for all agents to inherit and use in their form as well as me. Being an example of how to market consistently. Who wrote that?
No.
Exactly what I wrote.
Market consistently. Create a program, right? Something about that?
Yeah.
Okay. What else? Read. Yes, sir.
Focusing on one thing at a time and do it until it's finished.
Focusing on one thing at a time and do it till it's finished. What else? Yes.
Follow through.
Follow through. Okay. Any others?
Door knock.
Door knock. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Repeatedly, consistently to the end of 2012, prospect, door knock, and call, contacts, send stuff to past clients, and COIs.
Send stuff to your centers of influence repeatedly and consistently door knock. Now, I want you to know, again, I didn't tell you you were going to do that. You didn't know you were going to throw it. You got one that's good? Because you're looking, no, it's not that good. Study and practice contract lingo. Excellent. Yes, sir.
I need to practice singing at least 30 minutes to an hour a day.
Practice singing 30 minutes a day. If you coupled that one with the door knock one, we could really have a cool practice. Now, it's a cool exercise. It's fun. You can learn what other people are thinking or saying. And part of the reason that I do that exercise is because you can begin to speak to people and how they write and what they write. And it was impossible for me to all set you up, but I did. Okay? Does anybody, and these aren't bad things. They're not bad things. The marketing thing, the door knock thing, they're not bad things. Does anybody recognize something in common with all of them?
Shoulds.
Number one, they're shoulds, but that's what I asked for, so that's cool. What else is common to these?
If they're not doing it now?
They're not doing it now. Were they not all ambiguous? Right? We went through that, and here's what's crazy. We have been being ambiguous with our lives since we were little kids. And even after kind of showing the model and you going, yeah, you guys get it, and I asked you to do that exercise, we still won't. We don't naturally and intuitively go, here's what I'm going to do and by when. I will have a marketing platform developed and implemented by October 31st. I'm going 3 days a week between the hours of 1 and 3. I will isolate and target 5 neighborhoods, and I will begin on Monday to 3 days a week, go door knock. But you see, if we start to express stuff like that, I'm telling you, you start to go, ugh. And we'd just so much rather live in the vagueness of our lives. But this is the part where the coach in me comes and it causes pain. You didn't know it this morning, and maybe the Cherry Creek team's going to start to panic here when I say this, but I didn't come here to make you happy and to inspire you and motivate you. It's not why I'm here. And I might likely be here to create a little pain in your life. But see, we couldn't put that on a flyer because no one would come. Come and have pain. Oh, you know, all of a sudden you'd be really busy. End of the month, I got things or whatever. Because here's the thing. You want to make a change in your life? You want to do something different? Whatever your should is. And by the way, I have them. We all have them. I've got some key shoulds. And I catch myself more and more and more as I coach this being ambiguous about my shoulds, because to be unambiguous, to be specific, feels like it's stealing a freedom from me. And it causes pain. I was coaching some people, I think I was in Dallas. I was teaching on life planning or something like that, and this gentleman, I was talking about specificity of action, and we were going through this plan and a way to plan, and we took a break. And this guy at the break comes charging up at me, like running up, like really fast. I thought he was going to hit me. I kind of got like, you know, I was like, okay, dude, we're going to get out of here. He was kind of mad. And he looked right at me. He's like, I'm not writing stuff down like that. And, you know, I didn't even know this guy. All I could say was, okay. You know, freedom, right? Whatever. And I said, just out of curiosity, why not? And he said, because if I write it the way you're saying it, then I got to do it. And that's what I did. I laughed at his face because I thought he was kidding. And it was kind of an embarrassing moment because he wasn't. Oh, sorry, dude. Really? Did you? And I'm going to start looking for cameras. I'm not being filmed here? Well, like, what's happening? If I write down specifically what I got to do and how I got to do it, then I'll begin to do it. What's the fear? What's the fear? You want to leave here this morning? Because every one of you, I think, at least almost all of you, had some shoulds. We could stop right now. You could leave, and you could begin to take action, just one little action on your should, and you could make it super specific, and if you did, actually the morning would be hugely fruitful. Y'all believe that? All right, have a good day. No, I'm just kidding. Like, some people are going, yes, this is awesome. I'm busy. All right. Y'all have any questions? How are y'all doing?
Good. Excellent.
Really? Okay, there's a couple of you that need to tell your face that. It's hard to read. Wow. Any thoughts? You okay? That's a big question. Ambiguity is safe. Yeah, but it keeps you in, yeah. And it keeps you in stage 2. Stage 2 feels safe, and here's a funny thing. It's a prison. That's the irony. As we go throughout the rest of the day, I'm going to give you some tools. I'm going to give you ideas. I'm going to ask you to read some books. I'm going to give you some thoughts. I'll give you some quotes. I have, in my brain, the way that I speak and think, the way that I coach. There's a lot of people that have said a lot of good things. I'm a man of faith, and so I often quote Scripture, and so I hope that's not too offensive to anybody. Sometimes I quote even greater sources like the Eagles. Y'all have heard of them? Okay, yeah, we're in California. I would hope so. Okay? Because Don Henley and Glenn Fry, particularly Glenn Fry, who was actually very close friends with Jackson Browne. Glenn Fry and Jackson Browne are really close friends. Y'all know that? And Jackson Browne is one of the greatest lyricists of all time in music. But Glenn Fry, I can't quite tell. I've done some research. I think it was Glenn Fry, but it could have been Jackson Browne, wrote a song in the mid-'70s called Already Gone. You all know this song? All right. Can we sing it? Don, you're, because I'm already gone. Okay, but at the end of...
We're just singing 30 minutes a day.
Let's go. Who's singing 30 minutes a day? We're going to sing Already Gone right now. We're going to start. I kind of came from over here. No, we won't do that. At the end of that song, Glenn Fry penned these words, and he said, "How oftentimes it happens that we live our lives in chains, and we never even know we have the keys." How oftentimes it happens that we live our life... Y'all with me? You're looking like, does it say that? Yeah, it says that, I promise. How oftentimes it happens that we live our lives in chains and we never even know that we have the keys. You want to hear something funny? The chains that we live in are our own vagueness. It's a chain and it's a prison. And the key, at least one of them that I know of, is having the courage to be specific. The courage to be specific. Now, I don't have a lot of magic pills, and I don't know exactly what can bring everybody to here, but I'll tell you one thing that most people need, and if we all walked out and we had a bigger dose of this, it's courage. How many people speak a different language in the room? Wow, but what language? Spanish. Spanish. Right on, we're close. Yes? Pittsburgh. Very nice. Huh? Sign language, great language. Okay, so you have to teach me on this one. ¿Cómo se dice en español heart? Corazón. Anybody speak French? Comment dis-tu en français heart? Cœur. How about Italiano? Cuore. Más o menos. Es muy parecido los idiomas. Cuore. Corazón, cuore, cœur en français. Starting to hear the word courage, heart. And we spoke about this last night. You want to hear something really crazy? You want to make a huge impact in your life and in your business? You likely don't need to attend stuff like this and learn more stuff. You could, and it's okay. But interestingly, most of us walked around going, I've already got my shoulds. I know what I should do, and it's likely not going to happen here. Because until you believe something here, you won't make change because you don't have the corazón, the cœur, and the courage to change. I love when I attend stuff, most recently, and I've been blogging about this a lot, but you attend stuff like this and people say stuff like this. You know what y'all need to do? Change. And people write down like, yes, change. What a joke. Because I want to stop and go, does anybody have any idea how difficult that is for most people? I don't think we understand. We don't just change. Change is really, really difficult. And because it's so difficult, it requires courage. It requires heart. And I can prove that to you a little bit later on. All right. I'm convinced that you can hold people together for, at the most, like an hour, maybe at the max, before you got to give people a break, just so you know. Most adults. Seriously, 3 hours. Have you been thinking it's 3 hours later and someone's going, the number one thing, and you're just going, whatever. You know, I could light my hair on fire, take my clothes off, and it's like, we can't even hear you, man. Whatever. So we'll take some breaks. I want to walk through a really quick model. And I'm going to go through this really, really rapidly, and again, it's going to set up the rest of our day. And the model that I'm going to give you is a behavioral model. How many people have ever taken a behavioral test of some kind? Cool. Wow, lots of you. This is going to be really cool and really a quick little refresher course. What behavioral test have you taken? DISC. How about Myers-Briggs? You got any Myers-Briggs folks in the room? Okay. INFJ, the 4 different, quadrants of Myers-Briggs. Any other ones? StrengthsFinder. StrengthsFinder is a great one. Anyone ever taken a StrengthsFinder? Yeah. Really, really great tool. Really, really great tool. As a coach, we give a lot of these tools in different forms. I've been so tooled to death, I find things like, I get it. Like, I go with my problems, they've been saying them over and over and over, know what I am. So I just want to, I'm going to go through DISC in about 15 minutes, and the reason I want to do this is really 2 reasons. Number 1, behavior is a language, much like Spanish or Italian or French or, Pittsburgh or whatever. Behavior is a language. Some of us who have taken tests, we're like, I remember I did that one time. Here's what I'm convinced of. Like if you wanted to learn Spanish, like you're a person that doesn't speak Spanish, you people speak Spanish over there, and someone came to you and said, man, I'm not kidding, I really want to learn Spanish. I want to learn Spanish. What would you tell them to do? They really want to learn it. Step 1, what would you say? Okay, does anyone work for Rosetta Stone in here? Does anyone have any family members that work for Rosetta Stone? Don't buy that crap. That's crazy. You are wasting your money. Okay, you can learn a phrase or 2, and there's nothing wrong with that, but they think that, how many people took Spanish for more than a year in high school or college? Whose current vocabulary is yo quiero Taco Bell? Right, cerveza, you've got that. Dos cervezas, I'm fluent, right? And after dos cervezas, I remember baño, which is what you need after dos cervezas. Más cervezas, right? I lived in Italy for 3.5 years. I can teach you all Italian right now. Who wants to learn Italian? Right on, I'll teach you Italian. You need 2 words, vino, which you already got, and vero. In Espanol se dice verdad, vero. Because in Italian, you just go, little vino, and you start drinking, and then whatever they're saying, you go, vero, truth. Oh, that's the truth. Vino, vero. You're done. Live there for 3 years. You're fine. Behavior is a language. Step 1, if you ever want to learn Spanish, you want to learn Italian, you want to learn Spanish, you know what I tell you to do? If you're really serious, go to Mexico. Go live there. That's the only way most people retain languages. That's why we all study stuff for a long time, and at the end we're like, I got nothing. Because you can't look at something for a half an hour, 3 days a week, and the other 23.5 hours, all the other days a week, think and speak in your own language. You won't retain it. It just doesn't happen. You want to learn a language, move to the country, which is not practical for a lot of people. But it's the truth. The cool thing about behavior is it is a language you don't need to move anywhere. Everybody's speaking it everywhere you go. So the reason I want to do it and give you guys these tools, for some of you, I'm going to give them back to you, is because it's such a cool reminder that we live in this world, and if we're salespeople, you have to speak the language of behavior. Yeah, I'd love to go through this really quickly and have each of you kind of go, wow, that was a good refresher course. You could become an expert at the language of behavior. You don't need to move anywhere. You don't really need to buy any tapes. You could get a few tools or whatever, but if you're an expert in the language of behavior, I'm not a guy that says, like, I guarantee you're going to earn $100,000 more in a year. I don't like think terms like that, But here's what I'll guarantee. You'll be more effective at sales. If you understand behavior, if someone comes in and someone wants to buy a home or they want to do a mortgage, and you look at this couple or a single, or it doesn't really matter, you have a couple there, and you can quickly go, I see the behavior. One is a stable, steady, one is a driver dominant, and you begin to understand that, and much like a language, you're not trying to translate, you just get it. You do that really quickly and you will improve your sales, flat out. But what happens is we forget that it's a language and we kind of just walk out into the world with our glasses on, and we just kind of deal with the world with the way that we are. So I want to give you the 4 different behavioral models. DISC,